Plus, feel what it was like to be inside that tragic blast in Oklahoma. A rare look at the bombing aftermath. This is Day and Date for Thursday, April 18, 1996. Live from New York City with Dana King and Patrick Van Horn.
Again, Dana is off today. Robin Carter is filling in for her.
And it was almost 1 year ago today that 168 people died in the Oklahoma City bombing.
And tomorrow marks the anniversary of that tragedy. And today we have a unique look at what it was like just after the blast through the eyes of a rescue team.
We had an explosion downtown. We've had an explosion. We need help.
Unspeakable horror. A peaceful April morning transformed in a single savage instant into a black pit of hell. Immediately, rescue workers from across the country rushed to the disaster. Among them, a team from Orange County, California. They are warned what to expect.
You know, it's gruesome. I don't expect that we will be too involved with that type of thing, but it's real ugly. It's real ugly.
Orange County, California.
And when the team arrives at the bombing site, another warning.
The biggest problem they run into with the body recoveries and people at this stage of the recovery is people don't look like people.
What the rest of us saw from a distance, they saw painfully close up.
If you're looking down approximately where the Allied steel crane is, that's where the Ryder truck is suspected to have been.
Walking through the shattered structure, spray-painted reminders of the grim search and poignant tributes to the innocent victims of this country's worst ever act of domestic terrorism. The back-breaking, emotionally wrenching work grinds on, the scope and scale of the devastation hard to comprehend.
From the beam marked number 2 down to the lower beam below that, the distance is 36 inches. There is 4 floors pancaked within that 36 inches.
In a brief behind-the-scenes break from searching for bodies, rescue dogs and their handlers take a moment to play. Throughout the search, a huge chunk of concrete dangles literally by a thread over rescuers' heads.
What the concern was initially is this entire slab was going to fall down into the pit area.
Rescue workers are stunned to find almost intact offices amidst the broken beams and crumbled concrete. After a 5-day tour in the hellish ruins of the Federal Building, thanks and prayers from Oklahoma City.
And from our hearts to yours, thank you very, very much. You've done a job, and you've done it well. You're not leaving anything incomplete.
Today, a fenced-in field is all that remains. Notes and mementos left there, making sure we never forget the tragedy of the Oklahoma City bombing.
One of the rescuers whose job it was to capture those images will never forget what he saw. Firefighter Jeff Beckeris is with us live outside his fire station in Trabuco Canyon, California. Jeff, what you and your fellow rescue workers saw, most of us can't even comprehend. How did you deal with it at the time?
Well, Patrick, we were briefed beforehand what we actually were going to encounter. We had a good idea of what we were going to see. However, nothing can prepare you for the sight that we did actually see.
Your primary job was to search for bodies. Were you always hoping maybe you'd find still another survivor?
There was always a glimmer of hope that we would perhaps find a survivor. However, being that we were dispatched 10 days into the incident, it was relatively apparent to us, with also the number of victims that were still missing in the building, that the chances of us really locating someone alive were very slim.
Is there one image of the experience that sticks out in your mind more than any other?
I think the image that sticks out most in my mind is that concrete slab that hung precariously over the entire time over the incident. That was about a 30 to 50,000 pound slab of concrete that hung by a single piece of 2-inch rebar. The rescue workers working the area known as the bight, or above that area, below the area, I should say, of the concrete slab, were in constant peril. If that large slab had ever given way, there would have been even more tragedy.
Is there No matter how many times you've dealt with destruction like this, you still had to deal with children. How did that affect you?
Well, Patrick, in this case, the children were a big help to us. We were flooded and inundated every day with cards and letters on our beds where we spent our rest periods from the operational working period. So reading through the cards, the hundreds of cards literally from the children gave encouragement to all the rescue members to do the job that we were sent there to do.
Jeff, I'm struck by how you're able to talk about this with a remarkable degree of dispassion. Can you tell me how you can do that?
I'm not sure what you mean by dispassion.
Well, it's not really matter of fact, but I guess what I'm leading to is that most of the time you guys have to do this because you have to do this. It's a part of the job.
That's right. Well, the team members did volunteer on to do this type of work. But I can kid you not, there was anticipation prior to going that any human being feels of dealing with a situation like this. But in a day-to-day basis, we do handle it. You do have to divorce yourself somewhat emotionally from the incident so you can perform your job.
Jeff Beckeris, thanks very much for telling us the story today.